All eyes may be on the presidency, but here in Maine, Representative Chellie Pingree will serve yet another term in office, this after securing yet another victory. Representative Pingree joins me right now. Before we get to your reaction on the race for the White House and Trump winning, can we get your reaction to voters right here in Maine backing you for another 2 years in Washington? What does it mean to have that support?
Well, I'm very honored. I really appreciate the voters giving me that opportunity to go back and serve them. And of course, this could be a very critically important 2 years. So we have our work cut out for us. I know what the issues are that Mainers care about, and I'm going to do everything I can to fight for their interests.
Now to Trump's victory, what is your reaction and what does this mean for America moving forward?
Well, sure. I mean, many of us were disappointed, maybe a little bit shocked, and now we have to regroup and think about what to do. I have a lot of good relationships with the Republicans in the House. We don't know yet who will control the House, the Democrats or Republicans, and that may not be known for a day or two. But I think this will be a really important time to call on the new administration and the Republicans that I work with every day to say, look, we've got these big issues before us. And Donald Trump has promised the country, a good economy, a safe world. And we have to make sure we hold him to that. There are challenges in front of us around housing, childcare. The Republicans have said that they wanted to repeal the Affordable Care Act. That they're going to fix Social Security. These are not easy things to do, and they're not easy things to do unless you have some bipartisan agreement. So I'm willing to work with them. I hope that they can regroup and realize the magnitude of the problems in front of all of us. This is no longer a campaign. This is real work ahead of us. And they're going to have to find ways to actually tackle these problems, not just use vitriol and campaign language about them. This is real work.
Were you surprised it took hours and not days to find out the result for president?
We could tell all along the polling data was, tight everywhere, close margins. It was impossible to predict what was going to happen, if there was going to be a sweep for the Democrats, a sweep for the Republicans, a race that was tied up for days. I really felt like it was unpredictable. I did not know what to expect going into it last night, but the voters have spoken, and I think we have to congratulate the new administration and then tell them, they've got to get to work along with all of us. And I will certainly do everything I can to try to face these issues. But I think it's really important that they move from the campaign vitriol to actual work language and talk about how to get these things done.
Republicans have also regained control of the Senate as of 8:30 this morning. Control of the House, you mentioned it, still unclear. What's your reaction? What does this possibly mean for the Democrats over the next few years?
There's another election in 2 years, and I've seen sweeps go in both directions. So I don't think that I don't think the president, can get his work done. I don't think the Senate can stay Republican if they're not going to figure out ways to do the things they promised the American public that they will do. And I don't think they'll have the support of the country if they don't do the things that they said they were going to do, get some real work done. I'm worried about a lot, and I think the voters will be watching them about issues related to the economy, a woman's right to choose, health care, the cost of housing, Social Security. These are all big issues, and it's going to take all of us working together to solve these problems, and they will not have a successful election in 2 years if they can't get some work done.
You touched on it a little bit, but after working with him as president in 2016 through 2020, then of course you've heard everything during the campaign. Do you believe you'll be able to work with Donald Trump?
Look, you have to go into it, hoping that he will leave some of the campaign talk behind and decide to get to work and decide to work with both parties. He was a tough president to work with in 2016. He appointed a lot of cabinet secretaries that weren't devoted to the mission of their agency. They were devoted to dismantling the agency. And he, tried to push for repealing the Affordable Care Act, which would be devastating for Mainers and Americans. So there's a lot of issues that I don't know how he will approach. But, I will be willing and ready to go to work any day, or I will be willing and ready to fight for the interests of Mainers against an agenda that he might promote that, say, goes against a woman's right to choose.
Why do you think the Democrats weren't able to secure the presidential election? And I know it's easy to be an armchair quarterback just hours after you hear that, of course, Donald Trump became president. But do you think the party needs to change? And if so, how?
I think there will be a lot of dissecting of this election cycle and, who voted which way and, what people were looking at or not looking at. Of course, the Democrats will examine everything about our campaigns. But I believe that the things that we stand for, the very things that Mainers are concerned about every day, are the things that the American public is concerned about. Whether Donald Trump can fulfill the promises that he made, I don't know.
And finally, what are you hoping to achieve in your next term? Of course, we've heard so much about the economy and also immigration as well.
Absolutely. Well, I hope we can come to a reasonable resolution around the challenges at the border. I know here in Maine, our asylum seekers want to get work permits more quickly. That's one of my bills, and I hope this administration will say, okay, we'll move it more quickly. I know that people are concerned about the cost of food, and there are a lot of things that we can do around price gouging and making sure our supply chains work better, supporting more local farmers and our ability to access their food. So there's a lot of things that we can be doing to bring down the cost of healthcare, to make sure we build up more houses in this country. And frankly, we got to face climate change head on. We're talking the day after Election Day, and it's almost like a beautiful summer day out here in Maine. So the effects are real. Donald Trump has been opposed to doing anything related to climate change, but I think that's one of the things we're going to have to face if we want our children and grandchildren to have a future. So there is a lot that we have to do. Like I said, he had a lot of vitriol in the campaign, made a lot of promises that he was going to fix everything. And we're going to be waiting to see, what are his solutions to the problems we're dealing with.
Well, tough morning for Democrats, but congratulations on your win, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.